Sleeping on the streets despite having a job, that's the life of Attila Kokas. He's a gardener without a home. Denny Wagner is a cook and also unhoused. He sleeps in a hut without running water or electricity.
Living on the streets is more stressful than having a job.
Thousands in Germany share their fate. Despite working, they can't find a place to live. Can they get off the streets?
You can just put your stuff down there.
It's 5:30 in the morning in Berlin's Neukölln district. We're meeting Denny Wagner. He's taking the bus to work. Here it's warm and cozy. Denny has been unhoused for almost half a year. He has no fixed abode. After separating from his partner, he came to Berlin, was robbed, and suddenly found himself on the streets with no money and no documents. The past months, the trained cook has been working at a homeless shelter. The guests here spend their days on the streets. Denny knows exactly what they need when they come here to sleep at night.
So I make sure that when they come in the evening, there's something really hearty to fill them up. If you're on the streets all day, it drains you. I know that from personal experience. You're on the move the whole day, from 6 or 7 in the morning until 7, 8, 9 in the evening, until you found a place to sleep. You're wiped out at night.
Attila meets us early in the morning as well. He works as a gardener for a charity, but also collects garbage and empties trash cans on the complex. He fears being caught without a ticket, so he gets up in the middle of the night to head to work. Train tickets are expensive.
I have to be careful I don't get checked because I don't have a ticket. Early in the morning nobody checks, so I don't have problems when I get here early. It's not that bad. I'm already awake at 3 a.m. because I need to go to the toilet. So getting up at 4 a.m. isn't really a big deal. I spend a bit of time on my phone, and then I start.
Attila was already employed as a gardener in Hungary. He came to Germany 7 years ago in hopes of finding a better life. Just a few months ago, he got a job at the Berlin City Mission. The mission operates a laundry, a clothing store, and shelter for people in need, as well as a range of advice centers. Attila says it's too unsafe and noisy in the shelters to spend the night. There's no privacy. Many of the people struggle with drug addiction or psychological issues. Attila wants his own apartment so he can settle down and rest.
So I can sleep peacefully. So I don't have to stay half awake to watch out for my stuff, so nobody steals anything as soon as I'm not looking. I've wanted my own apartment for a long time, but German bureaucracy is a bit different from Hungarian bureaucracy, and I still have to figure out how it works.
Don't we have any ladles? Where are the ladles?
Have you tasted it? Well, you don't like Brussels sprouts? Me neither. Then leave it. I just tried the broth too.
Their workplaces are the center of Denny and Attila's lives. It's a refuge from the streets.
My life is here. I mostly only leave to sleep. Sometimes I have some errands to run, and by the time I'm back, it's around 4:30, and it's starting to get dark. Then it's time to eat.
He says homelessness is stressful. You're constantly looking for money and food.
It's simply not true that unhoused people sleep in until 10. I'd clear my place by 6 in the morning and only go back around 9 or 10 at night. You limit your needs. You can't just lie on the couch in the evening with 2 bags of chips and a Coke. That would never work.
We do some research and find that not every employer will hire unhoused people. So it's no coincidence that Attila and Denny are working for charities. Denny's employer actively supports him. Here he can shower and do his laundry. The head of the shelter, Thomas Zalewski, discusses the groceries to buy with him. He's sure it's only a matter of time until Denny gets off the streets.
So what's still to get? Pork for $4.99. You can't get it cheaper. He knows what he has to do to get himself out of this. Others have been at it little by little for quite a while too, but they take drugs or drink alcohol and all that. Denny doesn't do any of that. He's still got perspective.
Back to Attila. The social worker Pauline Müller is helping him find an apartment. She's got good news.
Oh, that might be the transition house. Berlin City Mission Emergency Shelter. This is Pauline.
Guten Tag.
Hello, Mr. Kokas. I just wanted to say that you can move in now. You can move in. There's a free space.
Attila has received a room in a hostel for unhoused people. Toilets and the kitchen are shared. He's visibly disappointed because after all the years he's spent on the streets, he would like a home of his own.
Yes, but the shower, toilet, all of that isn't mine alone. But at least it'll be warm.
Yeah, that's right. It's warm, and you'll have some privacy, too.
But why are there so few apartments for people like Attila and Denny? Apartments are barely affordable, especially in big cities like Berlin. That makes it particularly difficult for low-wage earners. According to estimates, there are more than 500,000 people in Germany without a home, and of them, 50,000 live on the streets or in shelters. The reasons are frequently unemployment, debt, addiction, or family breakups. Barbara Breuer of the Berlin City Mission says a person's health is also decisive.
So those who are healthy psychologically and don't have an addiction, they can do very well in getting themselves off the streets. Attila is a great example. He's been very persistent in his desire to find a job. He doesn't take drugs, doesn't drink alcohol, and has continuously pursued this singular goal.
It's freezing outside. But before Attila can move into his room, he's got to spend another weekend on the street. He doesn't want to show us where he actually sleeps. For one, to protect his privacy, and so nobody will try to steal his spot. He doesn't want any visitors. But he shows us what he needs to do to make a warm, safe camp on the street.
You need a thermal mat, blanket, sleeping bag, and another blanket with a bag on it. And there has to be a wall, always at your head. And it's better if the wall is here and here too, because then people can only surprise you from one side.
We can't share the location of Denny's shelter either. After weeks on the street, he's living in a simple wooden hut financed by the city. He uses a small gas burner to keep warm.
This is how I heat my room with a gas canister like this. One canister lasts around 3 to 5 hours, depending how high you set the heat. Then it gets really warm and toasty in a 4 square meter tiny house. You can just about lie down on the bed in Bermuda shorts. That's how warm it gets. A little luxury. Yes, a little luxury. So there's a bed 90 centimeters by 2 meters. There's storage space, shelves, and a cupboard. You're still really almost living on the street. There's no electricity or facilities. I can only power my hut with a power bank. And because I'm working now, I can charge my phone daily at work.
We asked Denny how he looks back on the life he left behind, a life far from the streets.
What kind of life was it? It was a good life. I had a family, a job, a well-paid one, where I stayed for 12 years. I just wanted to get out of my bubble. I just wanted to get away. I didn't want to have anything to do with all of that anymore. The old company closed in March, and then I thought to myself,
Denny has seen what drug addiction can do. He's distancing himself from it and is quick to make clear he's different on that score.
in my opinion, you just let everything slip. You're just using it to suppress everything. But that doesn't solve any problems. And at some point it gets you so far down, you're a wreck, not even able to take care of yourself anymore. And that's a really big problem, especially here in Berlin. I've seen more than enough of that, and I always ask myself, how could it get so bad? I'm just not like that.
The next day, Attila gets the keys to his room. He's still down because he hasn't found his own apartment. He has to share a kitchen and bath with other residents and can only hope they're clean. It's understandable given how stressful living without a home can be and how urgent needing a place to retreat can get.
Nice to see you here. I'd like to give you the keys, and then you can put your stuff down. So some rooms are a little smaller or laid out differently.
Ah, this is good, very good. I can put my jacket in there.
Exactly. There's also a fridge in the corner behind you.
Denny's also working on his future. He says he doesn't need much more to be happy.
Just to find an affordable place of my own, that would be enough for me. After all, I earn good money. So I don't need to push my luck.